Selling a house in Singapore is a big deal. It's probably one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. And with that comes the potential help from a professional, which is a real estate agent. And for the longest time, the standard practice has been for agents to charge a commission, a percentage of the final sale price. But lately, you might have noticed that there are more and more fixed cost or flat fee agents. It sounds super attractive, right? A fixed, low price no matter how much your property sells for, and often is even under $2,000. But is it really as good as it sounds? Let's break down the pros and cons so you can decide for yourself whether this is the right path for you. Let's talk about the pros first. I think the first positive is that with a fixed cost agent, you would know the fee upfront. And I think this is the most obvious and biggest advantage. If you are using a traditional agent who charges, let's say, 2% of commission, the final fee is a bit of a moving target. If your 1 million HDB flat sells for 1.1 million because of great negotiation, your agent's commission just went up from $20,000 to $22,000. That's great for them, but maybe not so much for you. With a fixed cost agent, you would know the fee upfront. Whether your property sells for $800,000 or $1.2 million, the fee is still the same. It brings a lot of peace of mind and makes budgeting so much easier. The second positive is that it has huge potential savings. Let's do some quick math. A typical agent's commission for selling an HDB flat is around 2%. For a flat that sells for, let's say, $600,000, that's a $12,000 fee. A fixed cost agent might charge something like, let's say, less than $2,000. That is a saving over $10,000. Imagine what you could do with that extra cash. It could go towards your new house renovation or buying some new furniture or just go to a nice holiday to celebrate. Or if you're smarter, put it in an investment and just let it grow. These savings can be even more dramatic for more expensive properties like condos. A 2% commission on a $2 million condo is $40,000. A fixed fee of, let's say, $4,999 sounds a whole lot better, doesn't it? And then the third positive, in theory, there's less conflict of interest. With a percentage-based commission, an agent is naturally motivated to sell your property for a higher price. This sounds good, but it also means that they might be tempted to push for a slightly higher price than what a buyer is willing to pay, potentially delaying the sale. They might persuade you to just wait it out a little bit longer to allow the next buyer to come in with a higher offer price. On the flip side, they might also pressure you to take a lower offer just to close the deal quickly and get their commission sooner, especially if the difference in commission is not that much to them. A fixed cost agent, however, gets the same fee regardless of the final price. Their main goal is to successfully complete the transaction for you. This means they are more motivated to close the deal efficiently without the added pressure of getting a slightly higher price just for a bigger cut. Now, let's talk on the other side, what are the cons of using a fixed fee agent? The first one, I would say, there's less motivation for them to get the highest price. This is the flip side of the point that I've mentioned earlier. Because the agent's fee doesn't change with the sale price, they do not have a direct financial incentive to fight for every last dollar. A traditional agent might be willing to spend more time negotiating to squeeze out an extra $10,000, which would mean them an extra $200 in commission. A fixed cost agent, however, might be more inclined to just accept a reasonable offer and move on to the next client. So while you are saving on the commission, you might end up selling for a slightly lower price than you could have. It's a trade-off you need to think about. The second factor is the DIY factor and reduced services. This is perhaps the most important point to understand. Many fixed cost agents operate on a more streamlined a la carte model. They might handle the basics for you, like professional photography, listing your property on major portals, and doing the paperwork. But they might not be as hands-on as a full-service commission-based agent. For example, from my personal experience, a fixed cost agent usually does not attend viewings at all. Instead, They will schedule the appointments, and you, the seller, will be the one showing potential buyers around your house. What the fixed cost agent would do is typically have a one-time Zoom call with the seller at the beginning and sort of coaching the seller on how to conduct the viewings, which means that you basically do the work yourself. This can be great if you are a people person and you know your house inside out, but if you are shy, busy, or just not comfortable with this, it can also be a major disadvantage. If you are a sensitive person, this could also be challenging as well because you might feel insulted if the potential buyer commented something bad about your house or your decor choices or something like that. And as a seller, you would have to educate yourself on the latest transaction price around the area, learn how to handle buyer's objection, etc. A full service agent will handle everything from start to finish, from the first viewing to the final paperwork, giving you peace of mind and freeing up your time. And usually, if the viewing done by the agent, if the buyer has any concern, they will be more keen to ask questions or to voice out their concerns, which will give the agent an opportunity to address those concerns. Because their concern may or may not be valid, right? But if you, as the homeowner, do your own viewing, a polite buyer might just keep their concerns to themselves and don't voice it out. Then they would just simply find another house. And then the third factor to consider is potential for less experienced agents. So the real estate industry is very competitive. Good agents who have a strong track record and network can command higher commissions. Agencies that offer fixed fees sometimes attract agents who are newer to the industry or who prefer a steady lower volume workload. While this is not always the case, there is a risk that the agent helping you might not have the same level of experience, negotiation skills, or market knowledge as a top-tier agent who works on a commission basis. This can be a concern, especially if your property is unique or if the market is tough. So, who is a fixed agent cost for? Choosing between a fixed cost and a traditional agent depends on your situation and what you value most. You are a great fit for a fixed cost agent if, let's say, your property is the type that sells easily. For example, it's located on a high floor, in great condition, neutral renovation, in a very hot location, etc. And then you are confident with your own sales and negotiation skills, or you are on a tight budget and want to save as much money as possible, or you have a lot of free time and don't mind handling viewings and direct communication with buyers. But you might be better off with a traditional commission-based agent if your property has inherent drawbacks, for example, located on low floors or in a less desirable location or super old or something. And in those situations, you'd better off using a traditional agent to market it effectively. Or it could be suitable for those who has a very busy schedule and wants a hands-off, fuss-free experience, or if you believe a skilled negotiator can get you a significantly higher price, or if you just want an experienced professional to guide you through every single step of the process. You might be wondering, well, if the intention is to save money, why not just skip the agent completely? Well, the main problem is because only agents can post listings on the famous housing platforms like propertyguru, 99.co, etc. And the reality is that's where most buyers go to search for their houses. So even though now HDB has their own portal where you as the homeowners can list your flat directly, well, if the exposure is not there, if the buyers are not going there, then you would still have a very limited pool of buyers as well, which makes it a lot more difficult to sell your house. What about third parties like ohmyhome website? Well, they charge a fee as well. So although it is cheaper, it's not exactly free either. The key takeaway is there is no one-size-fits-all answer. The cheapest option is not always the best, and the most expensive is not guarantee a success either. The best thing you can do is talk to a few different agents, both fixed cost and traditional, and get a feel for their services, their personality, and what they can offer. Ask them what's included in their fee and what's not. That way, you can make a smart, informed decision and ensure your real estate journey in Singapore is a smooth one.